So Lisa has determined the reason why these psalms are getting shorter is because the psalmist is getting tired as he gets into the 140s.
He's like, I'm almost there.
Yeah, we can do
Just
this.
a few more.
Yeah, so we're on to 141.
That's how we feel.
Yes, so this is we have 10 left. This is the 10th one that we have left.
Yes.
And so I'm Deacon Dave.
Okay. I'm layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and layperson Lisa show. You didn't see it, but she hit me on my
I thought you
arm.
were just going to start reading.
Yeah. And see, I like the way this psalm starts out.
Okay.
The understanding of David.
Ah, okay.
A prayer when he was in the cave.
Okay.
With my voice I cried out to the Lord. With my voice I made supplication to the Lord. In his sight I pour out my prayer, and before him I declare my tribulation. Though my spirit may become faint within me, even then, you have known my paths. Along this way which I have been walking, they have hidden a snare for me. I considered toward the right, and I looked, but there was no one who would know me. Flight has perished before me, and there is no one who has concern for my soul. I cried out to you, O Lord. I said, you are my hope, my portion in the land of the living. Attend to my supplication, for I have been humbled exceedingly. Free me from my persecutors, for they have been fortified against me. Lead my soul out of confinement in order to confess your name. The just are waiting for me until you repay me. All right, Lisa.
So what jumped out at me was pour out, because I think that can go in a lot of different directions. Like David's talking about pouring out in prayer, so it's like praying unceasingly, which is what we're called to do. And recently we were at a conference, and the speaker suggested that we have some sort of physical reminder to pray unceasingly. So for instance, he had like a string rosary around his hand, and then he suggested that we at that point tie a shoelace around our hand because if we had nothing else, but they had these like rubber bracelets, and so I got one and put that around my hand, and so that kind of was like my reminder. So if since we're called to pray unceasingly, a way to do that would be like some sort of physical thing. As a hint or a suggestion for our viewers, well, this isn't being viewed, but and then the other thing, pour out, like we should try to empty ourselves of selfishness, of pride, so that we can be filled more fully with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, so sometimes in our prayer life, right, our spirit can become faint, like it says within us, because of the difficulties. And I like what it says. He says that the Lord knows his path. He knows our path. He knows what we've been through, right? And he's also been through in some form or fashion in his own life all of the same sort of things. And I think so often we can forget that that's the case, right? That he does understand what we are going through. He is fully aware of what we have gone through and are going through. And we need to be fully aware that he does want to walk with us. And then I like this verse 5 says, I considered toward the right, and I looked, but there was no one there who would know me, right? But then he goes on to know that ultimately the Lord is his hope, right? And I think in our prayer lives, so what does the word supplication mean?
Sacrifice?
I think it's like intercessory prayers.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right. If I'm remembering correctly, supplication, prayers of supplication are the things that we are asking for from the Lord. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure one of our listeners will tell me.
Note.
Yeah, will send me a very nice note,
fraternally correcting.
Yes, not rebuking me, but fraternally correcting me. But I think it's ultimately our hope is in the Lord, and there may be times where we're lifting up our prayers and it does not feel like the Lord is listening. We're lifting up our prayers and our soul becomes it feels like it's faint, right? Because the trials and the difficulties of life are hitting us, and at the end of the day we have to remember verse 6, you are my hope, my portion in the land of the living. So in this world, ultimately the Lord is our portion, Lisa. Any other thoughts from you on this one?
Well, the part about the you know my path, I think sometimes when we might feel like a lack of hope, just knowing that like the Lord is with us on that path, and that we're traveling on this path for some sort of reason, and we a lot of times don't see it when we're walking it, but it's for our good, and it's in order to when it's like a rocky path, sometimes it's just to help us grow in holiness in some way, or grow closer to God, or rely on Him more, or trust in Him more. So we are faced with these trials that sometimes may seem pretty long, but it's important to remember that He's with us to give us that hope.
Yeah, because the trials aren't meant to draw us away from God.
Right.
Yeah, the trials are meant to draw us closer to God.
Right, and sometimes we can forget that, and it can lead us in that direction away from Him rather than towards Him.
Yeah, I mean, as you were talking about Jesus as our hope, I mean, the Spirit of God is inside of us.
Yeah.
So that hope actually dwells within us, right? We are like walking hope. But the question is, are we living that way?
Right.
All right, I'm Deacon Dave.
Layperson Lisa.
See you next time.
Ahoy.